Did I just install APR Carbon Fiber mirrors on a 67 Mustang? Yes, I did. I hate my mirrors that are on my car. They're like a Shelby style. I mean, the glass fell out. They're excellent. This is, you could see everything here, right? Like, it's a Bluetooth mirror. It's what you need. Anyway, I hate them. They're too close to the glass here. They hit, so the quarter glass doesn't open. The mirror itself is it's not good. If anybody has these mirrors, you know what I'm talking about. They're just not good mirrors. So I went out and ordered a set of APR Carbon Fiber mirrors, and I want to try to install these. They are super lightweight, which really doesn't matter, and they look really nice, which that part I really love, and it gives it a little carbon, which I actually love carbon. My Mercedes has carbon basically all over it, and I really like it. And so I am going to try to install these mirrors, and the mirror itself is like super high quality. Like, you can really see how nice there's my reflection. Like, it's really, really nice. So I'm going to try these to see how they look. You can install them, sticking far out. You can install them sticking really close in. So we'll figure out what makes the most sense for my car and install a proper set of mirrors that are going to work really well. Okay, first things first, we got to remove the factory mirror, or my aftermarket Shelby style mirror. Here's the game plan. We're going to remove the window crank, the door handle crank, the actual door handle. There's two bolts down here. Then we'll remove all of we'll just pull on the panel, and there's clips back there, and then this panel will come off. All right, so I've got the mirror unbolted, and now it's off. Let's set it down. And this is the hole that it left. So we're gonna figure out how to make a mount. So I've got some ABS that I'm thinking I can mount over this, and then I can use one of these holes for the mirror, and I'll have to drill a second hole, and then it'll be a third hole to hold the ABS mount down. I know it's going to look a little weird probably, but I'll try to make it look good. Did I just install APR Carbon Fiber mirrors on a 67 Mustang? Yes, I did. Look at these. Do you see how I did it? So I used the original mount from my cheapy Shelby replica mirrors, took the actual mirror assembly off and left the mount, and then was able to screw the APR post, and the mirror is all on there, and it functions the way it normally would. But now it's at the right height. I could see it perfectly from the driver's seat, and the glass is really good. This is excellent over what I had before. Okay, so here's what I did. Here's the APR mirror. The post has like a ball and socket thing that you can undo. So that comes out. Okay, so then you'll be able to use a regular screw that can go through here and tighten up on the base. So this is now ready. We are going to have to take it completely apart because this post that runs inside the mirror, it actually needs to be bent open. So we will do that. But first we got to take the glass out of this, and you just push the glass in. It compresses the spring that's in there, and you can pull the retainer out. There goes the glass, the spring, everything. Cool. Then there's a bolt in here, or a nut rather. That needs to come out. That's it. And then this comes out from here, the back. That's released. That's released. This little piece of plastic comes out. Now on the inside, there is just a bolt holding this entire cup on the base. We need to get that off, and just a 10 mil. So now we have a base, and you can see that there's a hole right through it where that nut was that held this whole thing together, rather the bolt was that held this whole thing together. And now we need to find a screw that's going to go through this hole with a lock washer, and we'll screw into the actual stud of the APR mirror. So let me see if I can find one here. Yeah, that'll do. And then this goes here. I mean, guys, look at this. This is great. Now I don't have to try to fill any holes or whatever on the passenger or driver side, and it pushes it out far enough, because this, original one pushed it out probably about the same distance. If they were flush mounted, yeah, about right at roughly the same amount of height off of the sheet metal of the door is exactly what this is doing. So it's putting it in the right spot. The only thing we have to do is just bend this piece of metal down a little bit, because the angle of the door is pretty extreme. So with it being on such an angle, the mirror kind of sits like that. So we bend it down, and then it'll straighten the mirror out and get it in the right spot. So this comes out. And they give you the Allen keys, which is nice. APR gives you all the Allen keys that you need. And then this thing just pulls out. That's it. So now we have to bend the crap out of this thing. All right, so I'm just putting it in my vise. And then I've got a socket that's going to go over this to give me really good leverage so it bends further down, not further up, right? So now I've got pretty good leverage, and then I'll start to feel it bend here. You guys will probably start to see it bend. I'm going to try that and see if that was the right distance that we needed. Guys, that's perfect. I need to crank all this down. All right, this is a bit tricky because now I have to do everything left-handed. And I'm a righty, and I'm not good at left-handed things. Alright, let's see if I can get the one in the back first. And everything in here is very sharp. It's like I'm putting my arm in a metal cage full of knives. So any sudden movement, and I'll probably snip an artery. Come on! Go in the hole! Ow, that's so sharp! Ah. It's not fun. Yeah, I got mirrors, boys. That's great. All right, we're gonna do a little bit of an outdoor unboxing. I got hood pins. So this is something I've been dreading doing because I have to drill through my hood. But I got these style hood pins. They are the push-in style, so they have their own little ball and socket, and they click into place. And these were not the cheap eBay ones. These were I think $100. So let me show you how these work. There's a ring underneath. So once you drill your hole in the hood of the car, there's a little rubber gasket which sits there. That's perfect. This goes through the hood. This retaining ring goes on the back, screws into place, like that. And then you notice the 3 holes there? So those are locking holes. So there's Allen keys, little Allen studs that go in there, and then they kind of bite into the hood and prevent this thing from turning and spinning loose. So we'll get this set up and see if we can get this thing installed. I need to get a reference line of where these rubber stops are on the outside of the fender. So I've just got a pole, like my old broomstick here. I'm just gonna lay it kind of like right there. And I want center. I want to mark center. I'm using a dry erase marker. And then I'm going to put a piece of tape. And I'm using a piece of blue tape just to kind of cover where it is. So now I know that that hole needs to be somewhere over here in this vicinity. Once I figure out where center is, I want to have a nice little straight line to give me where center is of my louver. And I'll do the same thing on this side, but now at least I know where the plane is of where the hole needs to be. And I think we're going to do this in reverse. You guys are going to think I'm probably crazy because you've probably watched 1,000 people install hood pins, and they usually install everything from underneath first, and then they try to find the hole and try to get everything lined up. I'm going to go complete opposite. I'm going to drill the hole where it needs to be. I'm going to put the mount, then I'm going to put the thing it's going to be in, and then I'm going to have the mounts completely free. I'm going to pre-assemble everything, close the hood, and then while the hood is closed, I will drill the holes for the mounts for the actual mount for this thing. Alright guys, here's where we're at. The car has racing stripes, and we have measured the stripes and figured out where we need to drill the hole. So it's going to be that blue X right there. And essentially what I want is for the hood pin to be in line with the louver, so as if it's a stripe. You take a step back, you can really kind of see what it's going to end up looking like. So right now we're going to go ahead and drill the holes and lay these things in. Alright guys, that is what it's going to look like with the hood pins, and I absolutely love it. It does exactly what I wanted it to do, which is kind of continue the flow of an imaginary racing stripe with the black hood pins kind of right where they would be, right dead center. This is great. Okay, so now is the hard part, which is actually doing the rest of it and getting them to actually latch and lock. Okay, so here's what I've done next. I've drilled a hole. You guys see that in there? I've drilled a hole through the second layer at the bottom, and then I'm going to use my hole saw from the bottom side up to drill that hole. This way the pin can pass through that hole and connect where it needs to go. So it'll go through the hole and plug right in. My original plan was to remove these brackets from the radiator support and then shift them over so that they can line up with the hood pins. But here's what I ended up doing. I went to National Parts Depot and I actually bought brand new brackets, and I put the pins in place, and you can see how they're like free moving. And right now, if I close the hood, I'll be able to see where they're supposed to kind of go there. And once I close it all the way, so in here now I can mount this to the plate that's back here and not have to worry about where it lines up. Like, if it's connected and I'm bolted it in, then it's good. I think I'm gonna like put a spacer behind it just so that it's dead center, and I'm gonna have to probably move the horns. I'll have to move the horns probably over here or maybe a little bit lower, which is not a big deal. So here's what I'm doing. I just broke the horns loose and I'm gonna move them over. There's another set of holes. I'm just gonna get them out of the way so that I can install the brackets for the hood pins. So here's what I started out with. I got one self-tapper in there right now. The way I'm going to do this is I'm going to get everything fitted with self-tappers. Make sure everything opens and closes. I'm going to leave my factory latch for probably another week. And then what I'll end up doing is I'll pull the self-tappers out. I'll drill bigger holes, and then I'll put actual nuts and bolts in. But I want to just see how this works for a week or so as is before I finalize it. Alright, I've been working furiously on this, trying to get this to work. So I did have to remove the center latch just because it's getting hung up with trying to pull it and push down at the same time. So now there's nothing here. I'm just going to put nuts and bolts through it. So right now I can push down and it comes up. And I've got one stainless nut and bolt. I'm going to pull the rest of the self-tappers out and drill the holes. I'm going to do it one at a time. And I bent this over so that I can get a fourth one in here just to have just a little bit of added strength. So now I'll pull those out, put all the rest of the nuts and bolts, and then I can get started on the passenger side. But I like where this is going so far, so now when I close it, done. Hood pins are installed and working. Check this out. So, got the hood pins, the brackets are there, painted them black so that they don't rust or anything. But there they are. Hood pins are in. I did have to clearance a little bit on the top part of the hood, the underbody of the hood, just to open up room. And I got rid of the original bracket. So now when I close it, done. Both are locked. How cool is that? Would love to know your thoughts on the hood pins, guys. I love them. I love the way that they look. I love the way that they work. And they really do give that visual representation of stripes that I was going for on the car. And the mirrors just came out amazing. I love the way that they look. The carbon looks great in the sunlight. And the mirrors are super functional, which to me was the most important part. Anyway, guys, that's the video. I really appreciate you guys watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's get us to 1,000 subs, huh? I'll see you on the next one, guys.